Thank you, Bantaji. One person would like to know the distinction between mindfulness and concentration. So these are English words, and I wonder if it might be more helpful to give the distinction between Sati and Samadhi.
Yes, actually there is a big distinction, big difference. Sati is paying attention to the root. Sati always goes with sampajanya, which always has yoniso manasikara. Yoniso manasikara and sati sampajanya all go together. Yoniso means seeing from the root of something. When something arises, pay attention to the mind to see what the root of that particular thing is. For instance, thought arises. Thought arises to talk. When the thought arises to talk, we can pay attention to the mind to see whether this thought arises from greed, hatred or confusion, or non-greed, non-hatred, non-confusion. These are the roots or causes. If it is greed and speak with greedy thought, the listeners can see or hear greed coming out of your mind. If you speak without greed, the listener can notice that the words are coming out of your mouth without greed. If hatred, if you speak with anger, you as well as the listener can notice the words coming from anger. If you speak with metta without anger, a listener can notice that the mind does not have anger or hatred, but metta. When you talk with confusion, listener can very clearly understand you are really confused. The things you say are not very clear. If you don't have confusion, listeners can understand that the words are clear, the mind is not confused. Remember, I gave a simile some times ago of milk tree. Milk tree simile is very important to remember. When you take a knife and cut any part of the tree, milk comes out because the tree has milk. Similarly, through the eyes, ears, nose, tongue, body and mind comes out of greed, hatred, delusion, non-greed, non-hatred, non-delusion. With the eyes, you express anger. If there is anger, eyes will open for anger to come out. If you have metta, loving friendliness, you can see in the eye, the person has metta. If you have lust in the mind, that can come through the eyes and so forth. And all these come from the mouth. And if you hear with the great anger, you will see your word coming from your hearing, critical word. The words you hear and then you say something, then your ears did not hear well. You heard something you think wrong and you express anger. If you hear with metta, it doesn't matter what the other person says, metta word comes out of your mouth. So, like that, whatever is in our mind will come out through our senses. That is why the Buddha said milk is a beautiful simile for us to remember always, especially in our communications, in what you call Facebook communication, telephone communication, email communication, in-person communication. In all these communications, you can see the communicators have greed, hatred, or delusion, or non-greed, non-hatred, non-delusion. And therefore, you can make the distinction very clearly. Okay? Next question.
Dear Bhante, does sati exist while in samadhi?
Yes. If you practice right samadhi, sati will not disappear when you are in samadhi. What is the right samadhi? Right samadhi has three aspects. Right samadhi has three aspects. What are they? Right understanding, right effort, and right mindfulness. Right effort, right understanding, right mindfulness, meaning sati. So, in absence of sati, you don't have right samadhi. In absence of effort, you don't have right samadhi. In absence of right concentration, you don't have right samadhi. No. Effort, mindfulness, and understanding. Not. When these three are together, you have a right samadhi, naturally. And therefore, you will not lose sati when you gain right samadhi. In wrong samadhi, yes, you may not have sati or mindfulness. You will simply have good, deep concentration. Okay? Next question.
From the same person, Bhante, to continue to hold on to sati and to keep it throughout the day during every activity I do, I feel it's taking quite a lot of mental effort to do that. Could that make one feel tiresome or bothersome?
Surely one would be very, very tired. Very tired. That is why one needs concentration to relax. When you are concentrated, your mind will be relaxed. Your mindfulness will be at the back burner. It will not disappear, but it will remain at the back burner. Concentration is prominent, and the body and mind are relaxed. So, that is what even fully enlightened person stay for 7 days and 7 nights still without any movement, because the person experienced the bliss of emancipation. Bliss of emancipation, meaning the person is free from greed, hatred, or delusion. When mind is free from these three, you would never get tired when you have mindfulness. So long as these three defilements, greed of various shapes and sizes of greed, various shapes and sizes and ones of hatred, and various shapes and sizes of ignorance, delusion, exist, that both body and mind get tired. When all these fade away, disappear, you will experience the freedom, bliss, without having any tiredness. Until such time, you will have certain degree of tiredness, and therefore temporarily put your mindfulness to the background and stay with concentration. That is what you should do. If you are in the jhanic stage, your mind is very lucid, clear, with purity and white, soft, pliable, steady, and imperturbable, and then your mindfulness and equanimity are working together as very pure state, working together in a very pure state. So you will stay there for a long time without any tiredness.
Okay. The next question: if Sama Samadhi is attaining 4 jhanas, is it necessary to have jhanas to attain Nibbana?
Well, it is necessary to overcome hindrances, 5 hindrances. There have been many people who have attained stream entry. Attaining stream entry is the entry point to Nibbana, entry point. Many people who have attained stream entry without practicing jhana by overcoming only hindrances. For instance, you hear we recite Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta. We just finished reciting. When he delivered the Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta, the first discourse, one person paid so keen attention, at the end he attained the stream entry, and Buddha said, Konnanya, Anya Konnanya. He said, Konnanya is the one who he has, or the known Konnanya, who has known, who has realized, who has attained the first level of enlightenment. Therefore, from that time onward, he is called Anya Konnanya. He attained the state without attaining jhana. Even lay people, Venerable Sariputta as a lay person attained stream entry by listening to one stanza by one of the 5 disciples called Assaji. He did not attain enlightenment, jhana, at listening to the talk. And a lay person called Upali, he attained stream entry by listening to the talk of the Buddha. At that time, none of them had attained jhanas, but all they had overcome at that point was 5 hindrances. And therefore, all one has to do is to wipe out all the 5 hindrances from their mind. That instant one can attain the stream entry. Attaining jhanas is an additional qualification. You pass your degree, you will get doctorate, PhD, and you go for advanced postgraduate research and get little more qualification. Jhanas are like that. Buddha did not discourage jhanas. Buddha encouraged jhanas, and even the Sati Samadhi is defined in terms of 4 jhanas. That is, the Buddha gave the highest. When he gave the highest, he did not neglect the poor person or the weaker person. So weaker person, Sariputta was not a weaker person, he's a very wise person. Among all the wise monks, Buddha says Sariputta was number 1. Konnanya was number 1. And those who have additional energy, time, they can go in the jhanic path. And therefore there are 2 methods, samatha meditation and vipassana meditation. In Susima Sutta in Samyutta Nikaya, Venerable Susima overheard some monks coming to the Buddha and declaring that they had attained full enlightenment. Susima confronted them and asked, "Can you perform miracles?" They said no, because they practice meditation and gain wisdom, attain full enlightenment without any additional embellishment. So jhana is a good thing, but always not necessary to attain stream entry. I think, friends, that's all time we have today. Thank you very much for asking these very good questions. Keep asking questions. I learned something from you.